What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning to everyone, and welcome to Coffee Conversations, Volume 1, Number 1, Episode 1, whatever you want to call it. This is just something that I had an idea to do because I get up every morning, especially every Sunday morning, and just have a cup of coffee and kind of ponder and think about things, think about life, and kind of sit with my cup of coffee and let God speak to me. And I thought I would share it with you. There's my friend, Urban Southern Cookie. She said, "Blessed afternoon. It's still morning here, Cookie." And I'm late because I got up this morning, as I do on every Sunday morning, and watch Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo and just get up on the news of the week and all the political mess that's going on in this country. Purple Passion, thank you for chiming in. Appreciate you. And coffee conversations, the way I envision it, is just me sitting down with my cup of coffee like I do every morning and pondering different things and thinking about different things and just sharing my thoughts with you instead of just keeping it all to myself, just between me and God and this cup of Joe. So I hope that you all are willing to participate. We'll see how this goes. I don't plan on camming up when I do these because I'm just popping into the room, into the office, and thinking. Y'all ever sit down and think? Somebody got on me not too long ago for calling myself an introvert. That was just a word I used because I thought it was the best way to describe my personality. I think a lot. I read a lot. I ingest information. And in these coffee conversations, I'm just trying to share that information with you. Now, these are not long. I'm not camming up because I might still have some sleep in my eye. My face ain't right. Whole lot of things going on. Who knows? I'm just getting up and popping on, just like I do in my regular life. I'm just sharing it on this channel. And I'm grateful that each of you would be inclined to tune in and just see what I'm talking about. Like I said, they won't be long because it don't take me long to drink a cup of coffee. But that's what I like to do, sit down and think and commune with God and plot the course forward and see how I can be better today than I was yesterday, if that makes sense. And what was on my mind this morning is the family, y'all. The family. Didn't put a race to it, didn't put an ethnicity to it. Family. Oh, and let me give you this disclosure because this is a Sunday morning here. And typically I have my grandchildren on Sunday morning, and I have a pretty rambunctious 3-year-old boy who you might hear outside my office, who might knock on my door, who might run in and get on the mic and say a few words to the people. He might testify to y'all every now and then in these type of situations. But I chose Sunday to do it because it just seems appropriate for me. So if you hear a little boy, not today, he's not here today, but in the future, if you hear a little boy in the background, just know that I have grandchildren. And we're trying to raise them up not only in a family environment like what I'm thinking about this morning, but also in the fear of God. And it brings me around to this thought that y'all, And I know y'all call me old school and say that, look, you don't understand the youth of today and life is not like that no more the way you grew up. I get it. But I think family is important. A father and a mother nurturing children in a loving home. I think it's important. I used to listen to, when I was younger, used to listen to Dr. Laura Schlesinger, trying to get her name right. And she would say that there are two important factors in a successful marriage. Number one, choose wisely. Number two, treat kindly. And as I would work 16-hour days, y'all, a lot of times, 16-hour days, climbing telephone poles and cell towers to feed my young family, I would listen to Dr. Laura on the radio, and she would say that repeatedly. And she drilled it into my head. And I began to use that same principle as I would talk to other people about marriage and family. Choose wisely, number one. If you get number one wrong, number two doesn't even matter. I'll say that again. Number one, choose wisely. If you get number one wrong, number two doesn't even matter. Because if you choose wrong, it doesn't matter how kindly you treat the person if they're a bad match. Anybody ever got connected to a person that wasn't on your same frequency, and no matter how nice you tried to be, no matter how kindly you treated them, no matter how much you did for them, it just didn't work out? That's what happens when you choose wrong. And so many people that I see today, it seems like they're just choosing wrong. And it's easy to choose wrong. I'm not faulting anybody for that. It's easy to choose wrong because so many people are messed up in society. Y'all got to understand. So many people are coming from broken families that they themselves end up connecting with someone and creating another broken family in the next generation. Y'all, we got to stop these generational curses. I think it begins with the rebuilding of the family. I see so many boys who grow up without fathers. You go to church these days, you don't see families in church. You might see a bunch of single mothers with kids. Ain't many men in church these days. These are the facts. They're not there. And we can go into that on another coffee conversation. We can talk about why men aren't in church, because we can drill down pretty deep on that and explore that. And I think we can uncover a lot. You go to football games, baseball games, basketball games. You don't see families there cheering on a child. You don't see it. You see a mother, if that. Rarely you'll see a father cheering on a child. But I will tell you from experience, it makes a difference when a family shows up to an event to support a child. It doesn't matter if it's a basketball game or a musical recital or a play at school. It makes a difference when that child can look up and say, I have an entire family unit that is out there supporting me. Hope y'all feeling this, because my coffee is halfway done, even at this point. But I grew up in an era and I long for that era to come back. I get criticized for it, but it's okay. I remember the Cosby Show, y'all. You remember the Cosby Show? A mother, a father, children, a family inside a home. Positive image of a black family who would rear their children in a positive direction and then send them off to college. That was a great thing. I got to see that as a young person. And I fear that these folks that we are looking at today, these young people, they are not growing up with these same types of images. So what are they left with? Whatever the media is putting out there, whatever social media is putting out there. Have y'all seen some of the stuff that these young folks ingest on a daily basis? Not just imagery, not just videos, but music. It is affecting their psyche to the point where they are broken young people connecting with other broken young people. And even if they decide to get married, remember, y'all, number one, choose wisely. A lot of these folks are making bad decisions at young ages, and whew, I'm not going to say that they can't come back from it, because you can. I believe you can. But they're putting obstacles in their own way. They're creating obstacles that didn't have to be. Why? Because they don't have good examples themselves, because they're not growing up in wholesome nuclear families themselves. So what are we going to do, y'all, as we sit here? Just a few of y'all in this chat. I'm glad that y'all active in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you. Special Needs Biblical Christian Rapper. She's well spoken. My friend Urban Southern Cookie, Purple Passion, Arthur Jones, all of y'all. Louis is in the building. I appreciate all of y'all chilling with me at this point. My coffee is almost gone. But y'all, what are we going to do about the family? We got a bunch of people in the chat. I just named y'all off. Anybody married out there? Anybody got a family? Anybody want a family? Is there anybody who is understanding what I'm trying to say as I just spew out my thoughts? And y'all, this is what you should expect in this segment. When I come before you on Coffee Conversations, it can be very random, because that's just the way my mind works. I sit down with a cup of coffee and just let my mind run. Had a professor years ago, ooh, decades ago, actually. It was an early morning class, and he would get up. Class couldn't have started no later than 8 o'clock. Maybe it might have been a 7:30 class. I just remember it being painful to attend. And this professor would get up and make sure he say, "Hey, does everybody have your coffee this morning?" Because coffee gets your synapses firing. And at the time, I like discovering new words, and that was a word I hadn't heard. Synapses firing. Okay, let me look up synapses and see what's going on with that. I could put that word in my back pocket. That's a $10 word. I hope that your synapses are firing this morning and you can process some of these thoughts that I'm just randomly spewing out. But nobody said whether they were married or not in the chat, so I don't know. So I just speak in generalities, because if you're not married, I hope that you desire to be. I hope that you envision your life as a full package: husband, wife, children, nurturing them to the point of grandchildren, and building generational wealth and generational situations that you can be proud of in your life. Y'all, my grandmother just died a year ago. almost reached 100, almost got there. She almost made it. But had children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, and great great grandchildren. I'm looking at your comments here. She's well spoken, says, I'm married and have decided it starts at home. Absolutely, sis. It starts at home. What what we create in our household is what we send out into the community, out into the public, out into the world. Urban Southern Cookie says, I am divorced and my children are adults. God bless them. You got them to adulthood. If that ain't a task, we know what that is all about. Just getting them to adulthood. However, I'm a full-time university student with many young people. I mother and nurture as many as I can daily. Look, now, Urban Southern Cookie, I know what that is to be an adult student. And let me just say this, because I might get into this on another coffee conversation, because I think about this all the time, just in my own experience, just reflectively. When I got to grad school, I was the oldest student in my class, y'all. Almost 200 students in my class. I was the oldest at 39. And something weird happened. By strange happenstance, I connected and befriended the youngest student in the class, who was only 21. And I said to myself, my God, you in law school at 21? Some of these folks I was in school with had never had jobs, y'all. Went from kindergarten to law school, never having a job, just a student their entire life. Incredible situation. So, Urban Southern Cookie, I understand what it means to be an older student. And I know that it's tough because college is meant for young people. And whew, I'm going to get off on this one day. College is meant for young people that have impressionable minds that these professors can indoctrinate. If you have lived a life and you understand what life is about, you've gone through some things and you get to college and you look at these professors like, what are you talking about, bro? Sis? What are you talking about? What are you putting in these young folks' minds? This is not the way life works. And it's funny because I think some of these colleges are indoctrination camps. Some of them are degree mills. They're not teaching kids much of anything. As long as you memorize their theories and facts and regurgitate it on the test, they will pass you through and give you that piece of paper. But if you've lived a life, you know that half of the stuff that they teach in that classroom ain't worth a hill of beans. We know that. So, having gone through the college process, and look, y'all, I was once an advocate for college. Not anymore. It's overly priced, especially out here where I am in California. It's too expensive. The kids aren't learning anything. And when they graduate, there's no jobs waiting for them when they get out after all of that debt. After incurring all of that, putting that big old monkey on your back for the rest of your life that you have to pay back. I've talked to people who have been paying back their college loans for years and ain't put a dent in it. They owe more today than they owe when they started, and they've been paying for years. Y'all, this welcome to Coffee Conversations. This is how my mind works. Y'all triggered me in a different direction. I was thinking about the family, and I'm still thinking about the family. Because when we talk about college and how it might impact the future of our children, these are things that affect our family. Because you put some of these kids out here into the world with these useless college degrees and they can't find a job, they're going to go out there, they're going to bump their head, and you're going to get a knock on your door, a ring on your doorbell one day, and it's going to be your 30-year-old child who needs to move back in with mom and dad. Urban Southern Cookie says, Gerald, I have experienced what you just said. I humbly and respectfully speak out in opposition of some ideology pushed and promoted on campus. Cookie, let me tell you, sis, I didn't oppose my professors. I didn't. I gave them what they wanted in order to get the grade. And I had a pretty good GPA. I was pretty successful in doing that because I was able to feel out these professors and the angle they were taking and see what they were pushing politically, see what they wanted in their assignments, and I gave them what they wanted. Many times I disagreed with it, Cookie. I wrote 20-page papers on stuff that I vehemently disagree with. But I knew it was what my professor wanted, so I gave them what they wanted, even though I disagreed. But I was able to do that because I was an older student, what they call non-traditional out here on the left coast. I was a non-traditional student, but I was able to finesse these professors, give them what they wanted, make them think I believed what they believed. The same garbage that they were pushing, I pushed back at them. Here you go. I regurgitated what they said. Because they wanted to feel like, they were king of the classroom. College is a trip, y'all, and I like talking to young people about it. I don't get the chance very often, and it's unfortunate, but that's my people. That's my community, y'all. I'm out here getting my hands dirty with real people. And sometimes I get upset because I see people who come against folks like me who are not so, how can I put this? Who are not so strident in pushing scripture on folks and beating them over the head with Bible text. I see other YouTubers and folks out here in these YouTube streets who are coming against folks who push a message like I push, but I don't get a chance to say it often. But y'all, I can say it on Coffee Conversations because my coffee is gone and I'm still sitting here talking. But check this out. There are people in the Christian community. I don't fault them because I understand where they're coming from. I grew up in the church. I get it. They saying, hit them with Bible. Hit them with scripture. They need to pray more. They need to read more. They need to study more. They need to be in this Bible text. I get it. But you know what? As y'all sit there and you criticize some of these people and you tell them how they need to read more scripture, I'm out here talking to folks who can't read at all. Yeah. Yeah. They can't read at all. And you're trying to impress Bible principles upon them gently because you understand where they're coming from. You can't tell them to read this certain verse. They can't read. So this is the state of our community, y'all. This is where we at. I spent over 20 years dealing with musicians who have mastered their instrument and can't read a note of musical notation. can't read a note, can't even explain to you what they're playing. You say, hey, bro, what was that chord? I don't know. Hey, Mr. Drummer Man, what was that chop? I don't know. It go like this. Let me show you. I can play it again. Let me show you like this. But I can't explain what it was because I don't know. I don't read music. I am illiterate. Y'all better understand what we're dealing with out here in these streets. And it's going to take the family. Let me get back to my point. It's going to take the family to rebuild this stuff. This is where it all begins. And we are so far gone, y'all, from where we once were. I fear that it's going to take a very long time for the family to get back together to the point where it can start producing positive humans that we push out into the atmosphere. Southern Cookie says, I believe family is everything. She's well spoken. Says, homeschooling was the best move I could have ever made. As a faith-based household, I constantly found myself reprogramming my child from the mess he was picking up at school. Keep talking to your kids, girl. Now that's a word right there. Homeschooling is not easy, y'all. And I understand why people opt not to do it. It's tough. It's tough, especially especially when you haven't been to school yourself. I got multiple college degrees, y'all, and a law degree. And my daughter was bringing me stuff home from high school, math, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And I would try to work it out and end up looking like a fool because I couldn't figure it out. With multiple degrees. So, homeschooling, the idea of taking calculus and all these high end math classes at home, oh my goodness. That would be like me going to school all over again. I don't think I could take it. So, I understand why people opt not to do it. But it is our burden as parents to put our kids in the best educational system that we can. If that be homeschooling, you need to do that. If tutoring is necessary, you need to do that. We got to do it. But I'm just going to be honest. When that trigonometry stuff came home, y'all didn't know what to do with it. Sitting here, a college educated man, and didn't know what to do with it. Couldn't figure it out. So I'm not going to give you no guidance on that. I'm just going to tell you to do whatever is best for your child. And only you can make that decision because only you know your child. Nobody knows your child better than you. And this is what family is about. It takes a father and a mother looking at that child from two different perspectives. The divine masculine, the divine feminine. Looking at that young baby and rearing that child. Knowing that child's emotions, knowing that child's proclivities, and assessing them from two different perspectives. Y'all, y'all don't need me to tell you this, but a mother can't give to a young boy what a father can. Ain't got no explanation for it. That's just the way God set it up. A father can't give to a young girl what a mother can. That's just the way God set it up. There's a purpose behind this structure, y'all. And when we destroy it, when we neglect it, when we poo poo it and say it's not important, we get a young culture like we have today where these folks ain't trying to hear nothing. These young people, you try to speak a word into their life, they will turn you off, pop in their earbuds, and put on Sexy Red or Cardi B and blow out their earbuds, not listening to nothing you talking about. They tuned into TikTok, tuned into Instagram, and you can't tell them nothing because what they're seeing on these social media sites. And we know because we're mature adults. We've been through life. We've experienced some things. We know all this stuff is artificial. All this stuff they looking at. All the stuff they're ingesting. It ain't real. It's all hype. It's all fake and phony. But this is what our kids are ingesting these days, y'all. I hope Urban Southern Cookie says, wrote 15 to 20 page papers on subjects that I do not agree with as well. Yeah, you do what you got to do to get the grade. Listen, my wife is in LA right now. She's in LA right now with my daughter, who is at the University of California in Los Angeles. We try to teach those same principles. Do what you got to do to get the grade, but don't forget God in everything that you do. Old folks used to say, get your learning, but don't lose your burning. Because they understood. They knew what it was. You send your kids out there into this atmosphere to be successful, quote unquote, successful in America. They're going to be exposed to some things that are against everything we thought them, everything we taught them in this household. You send them out there into the public, and they face all kinds of opposition, natural and spiritual, that go against everything that you tried to teach them in this family atmosphere. Can I get back to my focus? We talking about family. But when you send them out there, they face an opposition that is so strong, y'all. Whether you call it peer pressure, social media pressure, whatever you want to classify it as, it's pressure. And as much as we try to build them up, it's easy for society to take them down. So yeah, I'm dealing with it too. I understand what's going on, and this is why it's heavy on my mind. I get it. Armuta is joining the chat. Hey sis, we talking about family this morning. My coffee has long been gone. This is a new segment that I'm trying to set up here that I think I'm going to do on Sundays, talking about coffee conversations. This is what I do on Sundays. I ponder, I think about different things, and I try to flesh things out in my mind. I try to commune with God, and I just figured maybe I'll get on with y'all and just talk about some things that come across my mind. Last Man 47, thank you for chiming in. Appreciate you. So this is what we own, y'all, in Coffee Conversations on this Sunday. Can we rebuild the family? Can we do it? Can we look past what we see on the internet, even on this platform? On these folks' platform, can we look past what we see out here and impart some positivity into our children? Can we build strong families? Can we? Is it possible? I hope so. I'm still encouraged. I'm not discouraged. I see a lot going on out in the world. I'm not discouraged. We're up against a lot. We're facing some obstacles that seem insurmountable, but I don't believe they are. I just don't believe it because I have faith. Y'all, I have faith. Muta, thank you so much. That is so encouraging. I can't even express. I tried to express it the other day. I got a super chat the other day, y'all, and I had to look away from the camera and just get myself together because I was so messed up by the fact that Urban Southern Cookie threw a super chat in my direction. I was like, oh my God. I'm not used to this. I'm new to this whole presentation, so y'all have to bear with me. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being a part. Armuta, I wrote her name down when she told me the proper pronunciation. Wow, I guess it's been a couple weeks now, maybe a month or two or so. It's been a while. She told me on a live stream what her pronunciation was, and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure that I got it right. I think I got it right. Armuta. But here we are, y'all, talking about family. I'm not going to hold you forever. I'm going to let you go. My coffee has long since been gone. This is Coffee Conversations #1. And I just want to make a presentation to you all on how my mind works. I think about all kinds of random stuff. And today was just family was heavy on my mind. I wish that these kids could grow up and see the Huxtables, y'all. The Huxtables. Imagery is so powerful. I need people to understand that I grew up on imagery, and then I matriculated to college and studied imagery. Got a degree in communication studies with a concentration on digital media. I understand the power of imagery. But imagine the people. Look, she's correcting me now. Armita is in the chat. She's correcting me. Armita. Okay, I got you. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. I believe the family can be restored to Urban Southern Cookie, but it's going to take a lot of work because there are a lot of damaged people who are out here running around in the streets. And I used to tell my sons, I got 4 boys, y'all. I used to fear for my boys because I knew what the market was out there. You out there in the streets trying to find something, trying to put something together. You grew up in a household where you had a family structure that you could identify with. You had a mother and a father in the home, both college educated Black folks. In California, y'all, this is almost unheard of. We looked at ourselves as the Huxtables, trying to put it together, trying to make it work, pushed ourselves through college to try to give our kids an example, knowing that they would step out into the world. Step out into the world and be mismatched with their options, folks who came from different home structures. But that's where we go back to Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I'm trying to get her name right. Y'all can look her up. Dr. Laura. You want to have a successful marriage, a successful family? #1, choose wisely. #2, treat kindly. But #1 is most important because if you don't choose wisely, doesn't matter how you treat that person. You are unequally yoked, unequally matched. Doesn't matter what you do, you can go out of your way to treat that person as kindly as you can. It's not going to work because you didn't choose right. These are the facts, y'all. This is how you build a family, a successful family. First of all, you got to keep God first. And that's something Dr. Laura didn't say because I don't know whether she believes or not, but you got to have God as the center of it all. Keep God first. Choose wisely. Treat kindly. And I tell young folks all the time, I get a chance to talk to them about these situations. I say, hey, bro, because usually I talk to young men. Hey, bro, you want to have a successful marriage? Aside from Dr. Laura's principles of choosing wisely and treating kindly, you got to learn to love them when you don't like them. I've said that for many years. You got to learn to love them when you don't like them. Sometimes they're going to do things you don't like. Sometimes they're going to do things you don't agree with. Sometimes they're going to do things you don't appreciate. Going to tick you off. Going to upset you, going to anger you, going to put you in a mood, feeling some kind of way. But you got to love them anyway when you don't like them. I've gone over my time, y'all. I hope that I've said something that you can take with you on this day, because coffee conversations is just me rambling over a cup of coffee. I'm going to try to get on here earlier because I understand that we got some viewers from all over the world. And what I say is my morning cup of coffee, it might be late afternoon for some of y'all. And I get it. But I hope that y'all, when you see the alert and you see that I go live, and just chime in on a couple things, random thoughts on these Sundays, because that's just how my mind processes information. I hope y'all chime in, tune in, give me a few minutes of your time. Oh my goodness, this says I've been on for 42 minutes. Y'all know it don't take 42 minutes to drink a cup of coffee. My coffee been gone. But I have enjoyed my time with y'all. You know what? Y'all don't get it, man. I appreciate y'all so much. I don't think you know. I don't think you understand the level of appreciation. So I'm going to find a way. I'm going to figure it out some way, somehow. I'm going to show y'all that I appreciate you on this channel. I appreciate your support. It's crazy. I think we're building a community here of folks that I really like, folks that I really enjoy, folks who are showing their personality even through the chat. I appreciate y'all. Our sister Armita has been rocking with me for a minute now. Urban Southern Cookie been rocking with me for a minute now. I see Katie in the chat. Thank you for chiming in, Katie. Appreciate you. She says, hey, Brother Gerald, my husband, son, and I love watching your channel. My son says Mama Gerald feels like family. Oh, my goodness. I said, he is a baby. We are brothers and sisters in the family of Christ Jesus. Katie, I love you and appreciate you and your son and your husband. Your family is what we are talking about today. Your husband and your son and yourself. The family nucleus. That is what we're talking about today. Trying to rebuild this in the community, in the world. People like you are an example of what we are trying to put forward. Ooh, see, y'all, Urban Southern Cookie said, meritorious coffee talk, Gerald. This is why I like her, because she uses These $10 words. I like words, y'all. I tell my kids, since we talking about family, can I say this? I tell my children that my two favorite apps on my phone, my most used apps, are my dictionary and my calculator. Point blank, period. Because I'm always looking for new words that I can put in my back pocket to whip out at certain situations. And I'm always counting something, usually some money that I have to give my children that they call me asking for. Since we talking about family, can we talk about how much money children ask for? But I love God, I love life, and I love y'all. And you know what else I love? Coffee. I love coffee. So I think I'm going to do these coffee conversations on Sundays. But I got to watch my Maria Bartiromo. Maybe I'll just record her. Maybe I'll just record her and go watch her later on in the afternoon. I can get back to her later. But y'all are my priority. And I love the community that we're building here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I thank you for being a part of what's going on here. Appreciate y'all. And on this particular platform, for Coffee Conversations, number one, episode one, volume one, whatever you want to call it, we out. I see y'all next Sunday. God bless you. Peace.